Hello YouTube, it's your girl Ace Queen 511. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video today. Today is 11 Hip Hop New York Season 10 Episode 8 review. Okay, I'm very late, just a few weeks late, but I really want to get the reviews out, so I'm going to do the reviews. And I have like a little bonus that I'm going to do as far as Phresher with the PH. Oh, Phresher's getting on my nerves. He's been on my nerves. But he's a Taurus, so I just like to go over like Taurus men. Now, I have cousins that are Tauruses, but I never I don't have any friends that male friends that are Tauruses. I have a lot of female friends that are Tauruses, and we're really close. In fact, I feel like I should have been a Taurus because yeah. But as far as males, the only ones that I know are the ones that are actually blood related to me. So I'm going to break a little bit of that down towards the end, so stay tuned. Let's get right into it. This is Love and Hip Hop Season 10, Episode 8. So forgive me if I talk fast too, because I don't want it to be over 20 minutes, but we'll see. Scene 1 is Tahiri meets up with Erica, and they talk about Erica's wedding and how Jonathan was there basically to run info back to Sin. And Erica was upset about that too, because she's like, why are you coming to my wedding and you're not here to wish me well? You're here to stir up gossip and drama. The next scene was Joe meets up with Jim. They meet up to go to a cooking class. And Joe has the #1 podcast in the country, so he wants to ask Jim, does Jim want to be on it? Jim accepts. And Jim just needs relationship advice, with his girlfriend, Chrissy, because he feels like he's been getting on her nerves lately. And also, he's been flying to California because he has a dispensary business. So he has to fly back and forth from New York to California. So he said he's going to learn how to cook, do something really romantic to give her something else to complain about. Next scene is Phresher with a PH. Phresher with the PH says things aren't going great with him. I wonder why. But Janoski fired him as a manager. Jen still has him kicked out the house, and he's still living with his grandmama. So he meets up with Jen at their house. Well, her house right now, just the house he pays for. And he wants to know, can he come back to the house? But Jen is like, okay, well, who's Jada? And why is she sending me messages? And is it true that you owe her $70,000? And did you sleep with her? So Phresher's like, oh no, she's lying. No, it ain't true. Stuff men say when they're lying. He said he wasn't messing with her at all. Okay, so we'll see, Phresher. We'll see. Moving on to the next scene. Sin cooks for Jonathan, and Jonathan says that Erica's wedding was the best party that he's ever been to. So I didn't know if that was shade. I felt like, Jonathan is really shady. He's a Gemini, so he's always throwing shade. And he knew it was a wedding, not a party, but he called it a party, but okay. Jonathan said he talked to Joe, and he was all up in the business as far as if Tahiri and Joe were hooking up. And Sin said at this point she's not moved because the 3 years that she spent with Joe, Tahiri was in comment sections bashing Joe. And she's like, now you want him now? Like, she's like, I don't respect her as a woman. I'm like, okay, whatever. The next scene was Tahiri. She went to get a mammogram, and the results came back unclear. So she's freaking out about that. When you have an unclear mammogram, it could just mean like something went wrong with the machine. Maybe the technician didn't do a good job, or there could actually be something that's serious wrong with her. So she is freaking out about that. Next scene is Phresher meeting up with Papoose and Safari. So they meet up, and they're like, oh, Safari, how's marriage life treating you? And he has this over-the-top reaction as he does. He's like, yelling and barking like a dog. Like it's the best thing that he's ever had in his life. So I love that because I think that's really special and romantic. Um, he which is Phresher, says that things are not going too well for him and Jen, and so like Papoose and Safari are looking at each other like, because men know, or just like even your female friends, when that one friend comes to you, you're like, okay, so what's going on now? What did you do now? So Phresher says that he had this little relationship with Jada when him and Jen were on the outs, and now she's DMing Jen saying that he owes her $70,000, and they like, what? $70,000? Even Safari's like, he's like, I ain't never owed nobody $70,000. Like, not no woman. He'd be like, I'd be freaking out. I'm like, yeah, and Papoose feels the same way. Like, how do you owe her $70,000, and how is she just making up this random number? So Phresher, that's something I would like to know too. Like, who pulls a random number like 70K out of the sky if you don't really owe her $70,000? Who does that? So um Phresher's like, I what did he say? He said he got to get the thing. Sorry, he has to get this thing under control because she's going to ruin his life. How is she going to ruin your life when you owe her money? Okay. And then Papoose is like, you need to put your woman on a pedestal. Once you start putting your woman on a pedestal, everything else will fall into place. Gotta love black love. And so Safari's like, it's true because, last year he was out there running around doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing. But now that he's married, he's settling down, all his blessings are coming to him. So Phresher is like, well, I need to do something because Pap, you and Safari got me out here looking crazy. Again, Phresher, how can somebody have you looking crazy? Your actions have you looking crazy. Okay. Moving on to the next scene. So Jim is making the dinner that he learned how to make at the cooking class. He's making it for Chrissy. And I mean, it's literally a rock and a cucumber. But Chrissy says it tastes delicious, so that's all that matters. It's the thought and the action that counts. Go, Jim. It was a shrimp dumpling, by the way. So Jim said he respects Chrissy and what they have more than anything in the world. That's why he's still there, and he'll always do whatever it takes to be with her. So, that just warmed my little heart up. I was like, oh. So Chrissy says, we have a crazy bond and we've been through everything. So Jim shocks me and he says he wants to get married. He believes that a strong relationship like theirs deserves to be married. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Chrissy said no. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She doesn't need the added pressure. Jim was like, well, we deserve it at some point. And then Chrissy says they've been through everything and she's still here. Like, she's not going anywhere. She's still there for his son, his sisters, and okay, she will put up with his mama for him. So it's real deep. So Jim is still kind of looking crazy because I don't think he expected her to say that, but it's been 16 years. The first time they ever talked about it was 10 years ago. Then they talked about it again, like, I want to say, 6 years? And then now again. So she said she's over it. The next scene was Phresher meets up with Jada. And let me make sure I'm in the right scene. So yes, Phresher meets up with Jada. Jada says she contacted Jen, and Phresher with the PH says, well, contacting Jen was out of line. So Phresher, I don't know who you are, when it comes to your money, but it seemed like you would be the same way. So if somebody owe me $70,000, I'm contacting your mama, your woman, your kid, everybody. And I'm being funny, but I'm sure he would have done the same thing if somebody owed you $70,000. So he said that Jada went about it wrong. Um, and Jada's like, well, I saw you posting things online like you were living a fabulous, lavish lifestyle, and I've been trying to contact you through DMs and emails and messages and calling you, and you wouldn't respond back. So of course she did the next best thing. I don't know why Phresher thought that if he just ignored her, she would just go away. Like, I'm just gonna, oh, whatever, he's not contacting me, so I'm just gonna go and whatever. No. So she went about it the way that any other person would have went about it too. So he said Phresher said that he will admit that he did not have the capital when he first decided to own his own record label. So he used Jada's money to financially support the business. Okay, so this is a two in thing. Okay, as far as Jada or anybody else, if you have a business and you're starting a business, okay, scratch that. If you have a dream and somebody is willing to help you with their dream because they know a little bit about the business, then you want to see their credentials, you want to see their portfolio before you start giving them money. The fact that he was a rapper that just figured, oh, I'll start my own record label, if that was that easy to get hot and blow, then you would see all these rap artists starting their own label. Like, it's very few that have enough capital to start their own record label, and they usually write it in the deal that they sign with a major record company. So you was giving him money to start his own record label, and I don't even think $70,000 would be near enough to pay all the fees that you have to pay to make sure that record label is successful. So that's just one point. Like, why would you give him money and he just had you giving money based on his dream and letting him do whatever with your money? Like, that's too much. That's like somebody saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about opening a restaurant," and then you give that person $70,000. This person, yes, they know how to cook, but there's a lot of things extra that go into that you should know that they should have taken care of and should be able to present to you before they get your money. Now, on Phresher's end, the fact that Phresher did not go and get like some type of business loan and to fund his own dream, he used Jada's money. To me, that just says that he didn't believe in his dream himself. So why give a person money that don't even believe in themselves? They're not even willing to do the work. So if somebody approaches you with a business plan and they're like, oh, if you just put 50% down, and then you ask them, well, how much did you put down? They're like, oh, well, I ain't got the money. Then right there, that's when you run. I don't care what he was talking about or what he was doing. No, it still wasn't good enough for me or for you, Jada, to give him that much money to start a record label with, and not only start it but have his name all over it and then use your money. That's too much. Okay, so moving on from that. So Jada breaks down and she's like, so you played me. I told you about all the story of someone else playing me like this, and you did the same thing. Okay, that shows a pattern. Um, Phresher said he's not saying that Jada's wrong in the way that she approached it, but they both did things wrong, and they had sex. Okay, didn't you tell Jen y'all didn't have sex? Y'all didn't have nothing going on? Okay. Phresher, you just bad. Okay. Jada was like, okay, so was it just sex? And Phresher said, no. Phresher was like, it wasn't fake. We was in love. So I hope Jen's watching this, because, yeah. So they cut to the producers, and the producers ask him kind of behind the scenes, like, so were you in love with Jada? And Phresher gets all hyped up and he takes off the mic and he storms out like it was such a big deal. You already said it on camera, say it again. And he's like, this is what we're doing today? Is this what we're doing? Yes, because you already said it. So that's why they were asking you about it. So anyway, Phresher says, so before I go into the last thing that Phresher said, let's get into the itemized list that Jada had. So Phresher charged Jada $5,000 to build up a social media account, and she said she got like 7 followers. Girl, I mean, I could have got you at least 70 followers. Really, Phresher? Like, you are in the music industry. You couldn't get her more than 7 followers. Then she said the social outing cost was $10,000, and that was for him taking her to a fashion show. So I'm like, so basically he paid for a ticket for both of you guys with your money. I can't. So she had this itemized list that went down, that outrageous stuff that he was charging her for, which was crazy. So this seems to me that a woman that was messing with him, because who gonna give you that kind of money if she was a real business person? She gave that money from the heart, not from the mind. That wasn't the brain working right there. Anyway, Phresher says at this point he is fully committed to Jen and his kids. He wants both of them to move on with their lives and be happy. And I agree. And I feel like that's after you give her that $70,000. So after it was all said and done, you could tell that Jada was really hurt because she thought she had something special with Phresher, even though she was the one funding the whole dream. And so they negotiated to where I guess Jada will accept $40,000. To me, that's still not enough, because he hasn't paid you. He's been ignoring her phone calls for a whole year. So now you reduced it to $40,000. What he's going to pay you? He hasn't been trying to pay you all year. If he was trying to put something on it, he would have been paying you in increments, but he wasn't. So maybe you don't want the money. Maybe, I don't know. So moving on to Erica's birthday party. So at Erica's birthday party, Jonathan, Sin, Erica, and Safari were there. And I'm just going to skip to Tahiri is trying to approach Jonathan with the situation that he's running around telling everybody that Joe and her are trying to get back together, and he's like the watchdog and he's trying to be all up in the business. And Sin and Jonathan are looking at Tahiri like, what are you talking about? Like, basically blowing her off. So Tahiri's a Taurus, so I understand her. But it seemed like to me, yes, Tahiri was frustrated because she has that mammogram result in her mind. But at the same time, if you're going to bash me on camera, if you're going to demean my character on camera, like I'm trying to get with Joe Budden, even though he's like still kind of with Sin, then I want to be able to check you online. Let's get it all out in the open. Sin and Jonathan was pretending like they didn't know what she was talking about. So I'm like, really, Jonathan? After you approached Erica and was like, why are you trying to hook up Tahiri with Joe Budden? You're trying to play matchmaker. And then when Sin was sitting at the table telling them, it's a lot, Erica, it's a lot, Erica, and you were crying. And then Jonathan makes it a point to come to a wedding that he wasn't even invited to spy on Tahiri. You make this big grandiose deal about it, and then when Tahiri comes to confront both of you about it to get her name in the clear, you're like, what? Like, what? Sin, all of a sudden, Sin's bad. Like, she has no respect for Tahiri, and in that other scene, and then in this scene, she's like, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to Jonathan. Like, oh, now you bad, but a few weeks ago, you was just crying. So let me know something. So I get where Tahiri's coming from. I feel like the only reason why she went that hard was because it was on camera. So let me clear my name on camera. But y'all pushing me away and basically pushing my feelings to the side, it was pissing her off. And so Erica said that she feels like it's her fault because she's the one that was trying to hook them up. So she's going to make it right. Okay, so let's get down to this Taurus real quick, this Taurus man. So I feel like Jada, you should have known, or what you need to know, you probably didn't know. Taurus men, they are very loyal in their own way. If you decided to be with a Taurus man and he was with someone for a very long time, like he's been with Jen for 20 years, even like just a significant amount of time, they're not going to leave the person that they are with. Now, they might have fun with you, they might charm you, they might make you feel like you're the only one, they might make you feel like they want to be with you. I'm sorry. They might do everything for you like they are your man. But if they have a partner that they're connected to for a very long time, they have no intentions of being with you. They are creatures of habit. So if their partner is turning a blind eye to their cheating ways or don't know about their cheating ways, then they'll continue to play the role with the new person that they're with. And for some reason in that moment, they don't think about how the new person is affected or the other person. It's just kind of like, they love pleasure. They love a lot of pleasure. That's Taurus men. But they are not going to leave home. And they will also do things for their partner at home, like their main partner, their woman. They will make that partner depend on them even more so that partner can't leave. So if they have kids with the partner, they take pride in being good dads and being reliable and in their children's lives. So if you ever decide to get with another Taurus man, and even if he say he's on a break, he's not going to leave his main woman. He's not going to do that. And then the more you start tripping about it and wanting more, he's going to feel comfortable. He's not going to feel comfortable with you anyway. He's just going to go back to his main woman because now you're acting like her, and he was using you to get away from the attitude that she would have. So I would just say tread light when it comes to Taurus. Make sure you find one that's single, because they are not known to really leave their partners like that. They always come back, and they like that they can be with somebody and have the best of both worlds. If they have that kind of comfort in their relationships and they've been with that person for a very long time, they're not going to leave. Like, they are so loyal in that sense. And it sounds crazy to us because, like, how are they loyal when they're doing all this? But they're really there for self-gain. Like, it's really all about them when they're talking to you and pleasing you. And the fact that he was using your money, Tauruses are notorious for using like your money to help better their lifestyle with their woman. Like, they will do that and not even think twice about it. And like I said, that's why he pretty much dismissed you in the end. But if his partner right now that he was with tried to leave, they wouldn't allow it to happen. They wouldn't allow it to happen. Like, they will think of 1,000,001 ways why this partner needs to stay and make them more dependent and do whatever it takes, but they still want to go out and do their thing. So no matter how good a Taurus man seems, and like they're on a break and they're like spending money on you, taking you places, they're in love with you, doing everything for you. In the beginning, they're calling you all the time. If they have a woman, they ain't leaving. So we're going to just charge this one to the game. Let me know your comments, ladies, if you ever been with a Taurus man. Let me know what you think. It's your girl, Ace Queen 511. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.